we are sitting here with Chef Nick Shipp. I wanted to make sure and enunciate that because that was sort of like seashell of Oak. Head chef, executive chef, what's it exactly?
Operations manager, man of many hats. I do it all.
I talked about it in my intro, but you definitely don't know this about me. I come from a food background, actually, my food industry background. Yeah, my parents, actually my dad and my grandfather are butchers, long time. I mean, going back 100 years.
That's awesome.
And also own a restaurant that we built from the ground up when I was a kid. And I worked there from the age I was 13. I worked in the butcher shop, I worked in the restaurant, I bussed tables, I did everything.
Beautiful.
So I grew up in the food industry, love it, super passionate about food in general. And I hate using the word foodie, but I don't know what else to call it. But and we're sitting here in one of my favorite restaurants in all of Laguna Beach for sure. Maybe all of Orange County. And I'm really excited that you took the time to sit down with us.
Sure.
Share the restaurant with the rest of Orange County. I happen to just live a few steps away, so obviously you see me here all the time.
Of course.
People probably, I don't know if people get sick of seeing my food photos, but it's something I'm really passionate about. So thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for coming out, man. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, I mean, really, the purpose is like, this is like a meet and greet. I love it. I love it to be casual. There's no script. It's sort of like, tell me a little bit what, I don't know a ton about you. Obviously, I Googled you, but,
So, I've been doing this many, many years. I started out a lot like you when you were young. I started out when I was 15 washing dishes in a local Fort Worth, Texas Italian restaurant. And I was a musician at the time too. And I had these two creative outlets that really sang to me, and I leaned more on the food side later on in life, and it's taken me on a journey from Dallas to Fort Worth to Los Angeles, and now to Laguna Beach, and couldn't be more thrilled to be at Oak. It's a pretty amazing journey so far.
And that was what, 6-ish months ago?
Yeah, I'm pretty new here. I spent just about 18 years in LA working for Wolfgang Puck's franchise, several places around the city, including in Santa Monica, and then I got down here about 6-7 months ago.
Yeah.
So it's great so far. I'm loving it. It's a great vibe.
So I think that from my perspective, you did some great things with the menu. You didn't, sometimes new chefs come in and kind of change everything, but subtle changes that I think, amazing additions. We're gonna drop some photos of a lot of the food that you're gonna go back and cook some things up for us, and But I don't know, maybe talk about the vision, also where we are today and like where you hope to be.
Yeah, I think when I came aboard, it was presented to me that this place, being in South Laguna, is very local driven. There's obviously a tourist vibe. It's Laguna Beach, but this end of Laguna in particular is very local. Mm-hmm. So I felt that we didn't want to come in and just rewrite the history books here and turn everything on its head. So I used some of my techniques and things I've learned over the years to kind of integrate my style into the style that was already here, as not to shock the system. And then as I get more comfortable being in the neighborhood and meeting locals and guys like you who live in the area and kind of know what people's tendencies are and what they like and they don't like, we'll kind of adjust and craft the menu on the fly based on really what the locals are feeling or what's in season. We just approach it that way. It's simple. It's always been said that my style is kind of this one foot inside the box, 1 foot outside the box approach to things. It's approachable. It's not too refined, and it's comfort food at its best, hopefully, for South Laguna.
Yeah. It's interesting to say that because Laguna in general is a touristy destination, but this particular location is mostly all locals, and it's all of us kind of walking the neighborhood. I do see though, and when I'm here, as a matter of fact, multiple times, the last times I've been here, meeting people, I met a nice person from Chicago who was here, and like people are coming, and the hotel was recommended. She said, I had no idea where to go. The hotel told me to come here. So that's kind of a big component, right?
Yeah, it's huge. So that our concierge program, we have a really good relationship with all local hotels. It's a huge avenue of business for us. They're incredibly kind and gracious to put our name out. So, these larger hotel chains that are located in Laguna, it's really cool that they still are supporting the local guy as well, the kind of mom and pop shop. And it's done wonders for us, and we're going to continue to have a a huge bright future with those guys for sure.
Yeah, no, that's great. Well, I mean, again, this is part of the reason why I'm doing this. It's, you know, I mean, this is not technically my day job. This is my passion and my hobby. And it aligns with all my interests, which are basically coastal living, which is, you know,
amazing.
Steve's going to pan out there and get the beach. I mean, we're right here. There's a surf shop on every corner. There's some great restaurants. You know, Orange County is rapidly become a destination because I won't say thanks to the pandemic, but because of the pandemic, right?
I mean, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, well, because people are coming now.
Yes.
A lot of people from Texas, I'm sure you've seen that.
Tons.
A lot of people from LA. I mean, on the real estate side, we're selling homes, you know, one a week people are moving down here.
Yes.
And, you know, when I first moved here like 20 years ago, the food scene was pretty lackluster. It was a lot of chain restaurants.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't have a lot of good options. Now, in town, I mean, we have 10 great options, you know, and when I did kind of the top 10, you guys obviously felt, you know,
Thank you.
I won't do it by order because I'll probably upset some of my other chef friends. But you know, being top 10, you know, I would go this way.
Of course.
Yeah,
and I think too, like coming from LA, it's such a big market. I was there for so long, but even in that larger market, you know, me and all the other chefs and all the restaurateurs, we really formed a brotherhood and we had this connection, and that's really what I look forward to down here, because you're right, like years past, I think Orange County was just a lot of big box things, and that's fine, but I think the more mom and pop, a little bit more eclectic cuisines kind of hitting the streets here, and I think it's great for the city, and I really look forward to, you know, forging those relationships with the local restaurant guys and chefs like I did in LA. That's really one of the things I'm most excited about and look forward to doing in the near future for sure.
Yeah. It makes me think, I mean, one of the reasons that I like mom and pops, other than the fact that I grew up in one, is I feel like when you know and trust a chef, when you sit down and you bring, you know, the server brings the food to the table, you know you're getting quality, you know that it's, you know, it's not, you're not getting the supplies, you know, through, you know, the big chain, whatever.
Sure.
So I feel like that you're almost getting a home cooked meal in these types of environments, and chefs listen to your feedback. Sometimes you'll say, you know,
and it's very true. And we made kind of a joke about it, and going back into the local scene, like we wanted Oak to be kind of, you know, the Cheers, if you will, where everybody kind of knows your name. We kind of know everybody's tendencies, like we know what people like to drink and how many olives they like and their martini they like, and certain ways that they like their things prepared. So we really are hyper focused on that, and it's paid off well for us so far, and I'm really excited on all the new things that are coming. And you know, we still, even though it is a local spot, you know, going back to our evolution, we still have to evolve with the times. And as more and more restaurants come down here, or chefs come down here from LA or other cities, larger markets, it's going to create a really good competition. I think it's going to be amazing for the city. I think you're going to see in the next few years, this is really going to explode into a culinary mecca, I believe. So I think eventually it will really connect San Diego and LA, and right in between, it'll just fill in all the way up and down the South Coast. So I think it's going to be exciting in the future, man. Yeah,
no, that is exciting. You said Cheers and you talked about the bar. It's a good segue into, I mean, you guys have an awesome bar. I mean, again, obviously you have to start with good food, but then you guys kill it in the service component. And that's, to me, you could have almost mediocre, or you could have great food and bad service and the restaurant's dead. You could have okay food and outstanding service, and people feel, you know, like they appreciate it. So the bar, the bartenders, the drinks, the food, I mean, you guys are killing it. One thing that I want to talk about, because we are going to shoot it and put it on here, is on Sundays. Why don't you talk a little bit about that exciting program?
So that was something we brought out. I guess it's been running for about 3 months now, three or so months. It's called
Sunday
Brunch and Beats.
Brunch and Beats.
Yeah, it's a DJ, this really cool DJ out of LA called Michael Christophe. He's amazing. It's not like a house-driven DJ mix. It's real subtle undertones and fun, kind of vibey music. And then we got a whole cool creative cocktail program that we're doing. We're doing like mimosas for two, these big buckets, and we've got all these cool specialty cocktails and whatnot that we're firing out specials every Sunday as well. So we're really trying to turn it into this kind of daytime vibe, especially going into the summertime when Laguna is at its peak as far as tourists go and people being out and the weather. And I feel hopefully COVID is kind of past us at this point to some degree, so people are going to feel more comfortable coming out, and we're excited to promote it, and we're excited of all the new things coming down the pipe with brunch and beats too, for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah, I can't wait to show this because I mean, places like Bagatelle, right? Like just fun, great food, great drinks, middle of the day. Like you said, I mean, we're across from the beach, so like you're gonna get people are gonna come up, have some drinks, go to the beach. Like this is the epitome of the coastal lifestyle. I mean, this is why this is actually going to be the first restaurant deep dive that launches, and I'm super happy and proud about that because this is it. This epitomizes it. So.
Yeah, and I think, listen, I grew up in small town Texas, and like before I made the move out to Southern California, like when I thought of Southern California, LA, anywhere in SoCal was this. This was like, it was a postcard that I had at my house, and this is exactly what it looked like. And now I'm living that dream, like for real. Like I can literally see the ocean out of the kitchen door, which is insane to me. And it's relaxing, and it's, as I get older, my kids get older, I look forward to being a real part of the community and being part of Oak for a long, long time.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, listen, if you don't have anything else that you think that we should highlight or whatever, maybe we can jump in the kitchen, sure, do a few things here, and then
chop it up a little bit.
Sounds good.
Awesome, man. Okay, thanks for coming out. Dude.
Yeah,
let's do
absolutely.
it.
Okay.
Yeah, man, so these are the tacos. These are becoming a house favorite around here. This marinade has followed me around for several years now. It's a version of a marinade that my mentor, my Yoda of chefs, Clark McDaniel in Texas, taught me. It's a slight variation of the one he used, but it's basically a soy brown sugar chipotle. It's got some cilantro in there as well. A couple of secret ingredients that I have to keep secret for obvious reasons.
Texas steak or marinade is
so. Yeah, this is the steak itself. It's a prime Creekstone Farms skirt steak.
Yeah,
which is amazing. These guys are great. They're out of Arkansas City, Kansas. Basically, we marinate this overnight. We grill it to order, and then as we go. Let me get a little brush. I'm sorry, you have to edit that part. Hey, give me one sec. Sorry, there are fucking brushes on there.
That's fine. He'll edit that out.
The brush for the marinade. Sorry about that. I thought there's usually one right here.
No worries.
Yeah, this takes a minute to cook, so we got some time.
Yeah.
What's he doing? Then I'll go over the. Thank you, buddy. Oh, this little. It's like my kid's brush. What am I gonna do with this thing? Yeah, so as you ready? You shooting?
Ready.
All right, cool. So we just as we grill it, nice high heat. I like to really just like any steak, I think the key to a good steak is that char on the outside, that crispiness, that nice char flavor from the grill. We just baste it as we go. This stuff's good. We actually use the same marinade on our burgers as well, and I believe. Should be coming out soon. It's Vibe Magazine just made us the #1 burger in Laguna Beach, which is very cool.
I mean, well deserved. Well deserved. The burger. I mean, we're having one of those, so you'll see photos of it. But the burger's insane. One thing I want to mention. Yeah. I mean, beautiful cut of steak. Hardly anyone thinks about skirt steak. This is one of the most hyped, appreciated steaks I think ever.
I don't know why either, because everybody likes to use hanger steak and flat steak, but this skirt is really impressive, and it's got the perfect fat content. It's got that really meaty, umami, powerful meat flavor as well. It's super versatile. So, and I mean, even if you slightly overdid it, right, you still it's still a good eat.
It's tender.
I don't encourage overcooking it, but it still works well. So
it happens, right?
Yeah, of course, to the best of us, right?
Yeah.
So and the real key to this is, and I have to tell my guys this all the time in any kitchen that I've ever worked in, and it's it's cooking 101, but especially with meat, because we're going to slice this meat, is you got to let the meat rest, man.
Yeah, definitely.
It's like such a thing. I know people get so excited, you know, like, oh, I'm going to cut it up and get to work. But that's really the bread and butter, is to keep this sucker resting and all the juices to really suck up in there and lock into the meat.
I feel like when I go to my buddies' houses and they barbecue and they want to cut it because they want to see what it looks like inside. But
Yeah.
you have to learn to just by press, you can feel it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you're a pro.
Yeah.
But if you're at home and you're doing this, when you push on it, if it feels like this,
Yeah.
it unless you want it well done, like you want it to come off with a little sponginess to it.
You don't want it to feel like your forehead. That's what
No,
you're going to
no.
avoid that at all costs. So
Let it rest for 5 to 10 minutes.
yeah, you will
if you can. I mean, in this environment, it might be a little tougher to do.
So
right?
it just depends. So on busier nights, we'll fire it up like this and kind of sit it off to the side, and then when we need an order, we'll reheat it on the grill as we go, and then that way it's less lead time. It'll give it a chance to rest. 'Cause cooking this right up from scratch, you got to give the fat a good amount of time to cook. If not, you'll have it'll be too chewy.
Yeah.
So you got to let it render down quite a bit. Find a good spot on the grill. Oh, there we go. We're getting there. Again, it's all about patience.
Man, it's nice. Making me real hungry.
I know the smell in here, man.
Oh, it's amazing.
What was it? Who was it on the Food Network years ago? It was Emerald. He used to call it about smell-o-vision or whatever.
Yeah.
He's like, you can smell it. No, it's good stuff, man. And there's a little bit. There's not a lot. Just a little bit of brown sugar in the marinade.
Right.
So as it caramelizes on the grill, it really creates this really amazing crunchy kind of texture and natural sweetness. It's really good stuff. So
yeah, absolutely.
It's just patience. You got to let it cook and cook and cook.
Amazing. I miss being in the kitchen, that's for sure.
I'll trade you for a night. No, I love it. I love what I do. I think it's it's like any job that you love. There's days that are more stressful than others, but at the end of the day, especially this line of work, I think you really have to love what you're doing to survive in it. And you can tell the guys that I don't want to say come in just for a paycheck. That's probably not the right term, but the guys that don't really absorb the passion for it and really have a general care for hospitality and the culinary arts, they kind of fade away over time. That's why I've been doing this for since I was 15 years old, so I've been at way too long, but in a sense, but it's great. I love what I do.
Yeah, what else are you going to do, right? I mean, I'm sure you have other passions, but but as you were saying, I think that there's cooks and there's chefs, right? So
of course,
chefs are always passionate about this business.
Well, yeah, too, and it's funny too, because I think sometimes I take it for granted because I just do it for a living. But my friends are like, what are you doing today? I'm like, oh no, I'm just developing this vinaigrette or whatever. They're like, dude, that's your job. They're like, I'm going to sit at a desk and you're just messing around with sauces. And they're like, dude, I wish I had your job. So yeah, I'm very fortunate in that regard. It's and then going back to what we were talking about earlier was, I was a musician too. So I always had this kind of creative juice flowing through me. My dad was a musician, was a drummer in the 60s. And I've always had this arts kind of side of me. So it was like, okay, when the music thing fell through, my plan B was this. Yeah. So I couldn't, it was a win-win for me. So it was kind of a natural progression from music into this. I really get to express myself and do something I love every day,
I love it. I love it.
It's amazing.
I actually had a pivotal point in my life right after high school or at the end of high school. My plan was to go to culinary school.
Oh, no way. Yeah.
And then
I'm sorry. Hold on. Oh, there it is. Sorry.
I saw the movie Wall Street with Michael Douglas.
Of course.
And
ended
up going into finance. And but it was that fork in the road.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny.
Everybody's got it. Everybody's obviously there's different directions you take. I think with me, like I said, it was just like I was fortunate to have something my plan B was just as creative as plan A. I think I'm that way in general. Like my brain never stops. I have trouble sleeping. My brain's always like running. So this is a good outlet for me, and just like the music was, and it's great.
I love it. Well, this looks amazing. You're going to plate this. So you're going to plate us up some tacos. You've got all the accoutrements over here.
I've always believed in that. If you use, execution, obviously, technique, obviously, but it really starts with good quality ingredients.
For sure.
You know what I mean? From everything, from the salt you put on it to the to-go box that you give leftovers in. You know, and that was the culture change we really wanted to start here. You know,
I'm crazy about where it's sourced. I'm crazy about like my favorite farm for chicken is Mary's Chicken out of Central California. Yeah,
her duck chicken, everything Mary Pittman is great.
Yeah,
she's amazing. We could probably cut this. It's a little bit early, but we can cut it. So basically, for the tacos itself, you know what I can do is, all right. So this is just simple flour tortilla setup. I can go through the sauces, I guess. You ready?
Right.
So it's pretty simple setup. Simple flour tortillas. These little guys, sometimes they act up and don't want to fold. And then a couple of salsas. So this one, it's basically salsa verde. We call it green pico de gallo. What separates this one is, it's not only it's the typical salsa verde setup, tomatillo, onion, garlic, cilantro, parsley, but we throw fresh mint in it.
That's
the fresh mint really gives it a pop.
When I had it last week, I was trying to figure it out. It's the mint. That's
you got fresh mint in that.
Oh man, it makes it just feel, it's like explodes.
It gets very aromatic. You can almost taste it in your nasal cavity. So we really like that.
Refreshing.
Yeah, very refreshing. So some simple pickled red onions. Little secret, what we do, we actually, to get them a nice red color, we pickle them with beet juice. So it gives them a cool color.
Nice.
Simple salsa roja. It's like a couple of different roasted red peppers, guajillo chilies, jalapeno, vinegar, cooked down, pureed, voila. And this one's kind of fun. So this is chimichurri yogurt. So it's like just a simple 0% yogurt, tossed with basic chimichurri, cilantro, parsley, red pepper flakes, a little bit of vinegar. We puree all that in a blender and it comes out like that. It's great. You put that on anything, dude.
Yeah.
Right here, this is our steak. See the nice crust we were talking about, that nice char?
Yep.
That is key, especially when you're using a high fatty meat. This is key. It really separates the winners from the losers.
Well, that's what, when you said a little bit of sugar, you don't, if you had too much sugar, this is going to be torched.
Yeah.
So that's really a key component to it.
Yeah, it's just enough in the marinade to caramelize and get crunchy on the grill. We let it rest. So notice if this wouldn't have rested, once I just cut that, this would be full. All the juice would be all over the board right now. But now we let it rest, so the juice is up in the meat where we want it. And then also another component of this, I don't know if you can kind of see it, but you'll see the grains of the meat.
Yeah.
See how the grain of the meat goes this way?
Yep.
You always want to cut across it.
Yep.
Makes it much more tender. So that's another little kitchen technique hack for you guys. Also, we cut this fairly thin. I don't want to cut it too thick. Sometimes can be a chewier bite. We don't want that, so we're gonna cut it super thin. That's it.
Beautiful. Man, well done.
There you go, dude.
Awesome.
Bam.
Thank you.
There it is.
Cheers.
Cameraman.
Man.
There's the cameraman.
Woo!
There he is. Don't forget the cameraman.
Wow. Oh man.
So we're gonna plate this up. Pretty simple plating. 4 simple flour tortillas. We got the salsa verde with the mint we talked about. Salsa roja. We got the pickled red onion, pickled with that beet juice. The chimichurri crema. Got a little bit of cilantro as well. A couple of fresh limes. And you're out the door, man.
Man,
that's it.
Plate your own.
Lunch for you guys. How about that?
Man, well done. That was delicious.
Thanks,
it's like
man.
Tender, that flavor.
Thank you.
But the marinade is subtle, because sometimes if you go too heavy on the marinade, you don't taste the flavor of the beef.
No, and this like I said, this meat really is a sponge for flavors and marinades, and it's really a wonderful high fat content meat. It's one of my favorite cuts.
It's actually perfect in every way. The fat is perfect. The tenderness is perfect. The way you cooked it obviously is flawless.
Yeah.
I mean, wow, this is it. This is why we come here. This is it right here. Look
Thank
at this.
you guys so much for coming out today. We appreciate it, man.
Well, we're gonna look forward to all the rest of them.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
Thanks,
brother.
dude. Thanks, guys. See ya.
That's a wrap.
See you guys.